Welcome back to Intro to Programming Logic Supplementary videos. This time we are going to be going through the very first assignment. I'm only going to give you the solution to the very first assignment because at this point everyone should be done with it. We're going to create a new JavaScript file, right-clicking on Intro to Programming up here in your folder. And I will call it riverfalls.js. We will add this to Git. If you haven't gone through your Git course, there's not much going to help you now. But I'll assume you know what Git is. If not, I will go over this later in another video. But remember, if it asks to add to Git, you probably should do that. Okay, so your program should be broken down into several sections. Section 1 is pragma and imports. Pragma is just instructions for how the interpreter should run the program. You may have seen useStrict used so far. This is what allows us to use certain styles of writing, like the let variable. And we're going to be also, I should have remembered, npm install readline-sync. How could I forget that? Okay. So I got that done down there. Do you see that? npm install readline-sync. You'll notice node modules has appeared up here. That's where it installed our module to. And we're going to make a variable, or a constant in this case, const prompt equals require readline-sync. This tells us that we're going to load all the code that was in the readline-sync module over here, and we'll refer to it as prompt. And because it was defined as a constant, C-O-N-S-T, we cannot change the value of prompt once the program starts. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Section 2 will be our global variables. Section 3, program flow. For this, we're going to create a main function. In JavaScript, there is no real significance to this named function. Main could be whatever we want to call it. In C++ or C, you'll see main used as the entry point to all programs, so it's a nice little convention to know. But there is no significance to main. We can call it whatever the heck we wanted to if we wanted to change that. Section 4 will be our helper variables. Whoops, I should have done that. You may notice these slashes and the grayed out text here. These are comments. They are not part of the actual code. They are just used for making it more readable. You use comments to explain your code anywhere that something gets complicated, or just if you feel like being more verbose. So, moving on, we have the simple framework. Our objective is, I will copy it up here in some comments. Our objective in River Falls, and I'm using a block comment style, design the logic for a program for the River Falls Homes Construction Company. Design a program that prompts the user for a lot number in the River Falls subdivision, data about the home to be built there, including bedroom numbers, number of bathrooms, size of the garage, number of cars it holds. Output is the price of the home, which is $50,000 base price, plus $17,000 for each bedroom, $12,500 for each bathroom, and $6,000 for each car the garage holds. This only needs to be run once. Okay, so this should be straightforward enough. We need to define, under our global variables, we want some constants. You'll notice up here it gives us numbers for each part of the house has a different price to it. These are constants because they're not going to change until we rewrite the program. So we're going to make prices. Price base equals 50,000. const price bed equals, where was it? 17,000. Const price bath equals 12,500. Const price car equals 6,000. Now we need a few things that we can change. Let, say lot num. Well, it starts with 0. We also need num bath, because we don't know how many bathrooms we're going to have. We don't know how many cars we're going to have. And num beds. Num bed. So, just to go over this again, in the program, these are both basically the same thing. The const price base and let lot num equals 0. These are variables. The variable in this case goes by the identifier of lot num bath, num car, num bed. There is no significance to the fact that I'm using all uppercase up here and all lowercase down here. The reason I'm using uppercase is a styling matter. All capitals usually refers to some sort of constant or library, whereas lowercase might be something more mutable. We're going to be changing these during the course of the program, but these will not change, and we'll just write them differently to make it more obvious. So, for this to work, we need to be able to get input from the user. And for that to happen, we need to actually use our prompt library from the readline-sync. This is done by creating a new variable, or alternatively, you could just... Actually, I'll just show you. So if I run prompt.question, this question is... Actually, there's all kinds of questions in here, it looks like, but we're just going to go with just question. And please enter some text. Notice how each statement ends in a semicolon. JavaScript is very, very particular about this. If you miss your semicolons, it's going to complain, so don't miss them. These go after every statement, but not necessarily every line. Notice there's no semicolon here. That's because code blocks don't use semicolons, only statements inside of them. So if I run this program, which I will do by going down here and typing node 1, and then I can just use tab because it will autocomplete. Please enter some text. Boogaloo. It ran and it kind of just died. Let me clear that up. Console.clear. This will just make it clear the screen first. So I'll say Boogaloo. You'll notice nothing happens. I type it, it displays the text. I type an answer, and nothing happens. So now let's me assign the result of this question to let answer equal prompt.question. Run the code again. Enter some text. Nothing. But console.log answer, now it's different. Boogaloo. It threw it right back at me. Let's say I wanted to make some fancy text so that it looks nice. I'll put backticks in here. That's the key right next to your exclamation mark above the tab on most keyboards. It's a little bit different from the little quotes I'm using up here. The backtick allows us to use text templates. So I'll say you answered, and here's this fancy trick. If I put $, opening curly brace, close curly brace, you'll notice that it changed color in this IDE. Now if I run this, Boogaloo, And it says you answered Boogaloo. This is simple text I/O without any input verification. I'm going to close this video now and we'll go on to the next one.